Hi. Well, hello. I do believe we're live. I've got one side saying I'm live. The other side said you had an error and wait a minute and then try again. I'm going with my upper left-hand screen. So welcome to Who's in Your Pit Crew. I think the name came from a Buffini podcast that I was listening to. And he was just really talking about how when you've got your pit crew that comes out, you don't go from 0 to 130 miles an hour like that. There's a warm-up lap, there's a starter lap. So, we've been in this COVID mindset, the virtual world that we have been living in. And so now we're trying to get back to normal, right? So,
Exactly.
we're going to have to start a little bit slower, see this person in person. And so, anyway, I just thought it was a really cool Who's in Your Pit Crew. So that's how I came up with the name. So I'm just giving you a little background. But today I'm super excited because I have a very good friend of mine with me today, and that's Ms. Angel Cookie Hill. And would you say hi to everybody, Angel?
Hi, everyone.
So I have to ask you, and I've never asked you, so I hope I'm not really putting you on the spot right now, but I have to ask, where's Cookie come from?
Well, my grandmother gave me that nickname when I was born. My father named me Angel because I was going to be his little angel, which I have been. And then my grandmother said, well, her nickname is going to be Cookie. So from birth, I've had that nickname and it's stuck.
I have a friend and she never was called anything but Princess. So she got lost in a store one day and they said, what's your name? And she said, well, it's Princess. She never knew her name. She's just a little kid. I always think that story is cute. So, Angel, who are you with?
I am a full-time realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty. Mm-hmm. I have been licensed for about 10 years now.
Okay.
And prior to real estate, I worked for a Fortune 500 company. And while I was there, I did several roles there. Most of my time was spent in management. And then I realized that real estate was my calling.
It is a calling.
Yes.
So those people that are out there listening, honestly, if you think a realtor has an easy job, you would be wrong. And I'm just here to tell you, you would be wrong because they are your psychotherapist. They must know how to work their way through a real estate transaction in order to assist you. Sometimes they're your marriage counselor because things are going haywire in your relationship. So they really do not have an easy job. I just have to say that I've watched them, I've helped them, and I know for a fact that they work really hard on your behalf. So, yes,
thank you for that.
Yeah, and you do. I mean, every agent that I know, you work basically about 14, 15 hours a day, Monday through Sunday. There is no weekend, right?
Right.
You're available when your clients need you. So I wanted to invite Cookie on today because I really, truly believe that there is some stigma around, is it time to sell my house? Right? Do I want to hold? Do I want to sell? I just think that you've got to hear someone talk intelligently about what's going on in the marketplace. So I'm going to ask Cookie a couple questions. So we're going to get started. So Cookie, tell me, what is a healthy market?
So, great question. And a healthy market has balance. There are different terms usually when you hear about the market. So you have a seller's market, a buyer's market, and then a neutral market.
Okay.
So a seller's market is when the inventory is low or the supply is low compared to previous months. So that will generate demand amongst buyers to because they have limited choices. So usually with that demand, prices start to increase. So that kind of tells us that we are in a seller's market. Then we go shift to a buyer's market, which is, kind of the opposite. It's when the inventory or supply is high. So buyers have more choices, which then shifts the demand to sellers who really need to sell their home. They're usually more flexible on negotiating their price. So that in most cases, causes prices overall to decrease. And then lastly, the neutral market, which is when inventory supply is about equal to the number of buyers that are in the market. But in the 10 years that I've been doing this, I haven't seen that yet.
So, I was just going to ask, I don't recall ever, since I've been working in the real estate industry. So when I worked for the Tribune, I was also doing real estate. I was working with the agents then. And then I came over and I worked for the FBI group. And I've been here 5 years. I've never even heard a neutral market. So that's interesting. So that's kind of when we've got like an even number of houses on the market and even number of buyers. And in 10 years, you have not seen that.
No, not in my experience.
So 10 years ago, you got licensed, right?
Right.
What was going on 10 years ago?
10 years ago. So that was 2010. And we were pretty much at the bottom of the market at that point. So, it was definitely a buyer's market at that time. The pricing was, it had just bottomed out, and buyers had, many options to choose from. You had foreclosures that were happening, short sales that were still happening. So it was definitely a different time.
Okay. And so where are we today?
Today's market is certainly a seller's market for sure. No question. We are seeing homes receive multiple offers within days of it going on live on the market and going under contract in less than a week. However, it's also a fantastic time for buyers because we've seen astronomically low interest rates. So it's a great time for homeowners who have considered upgrading their home, especially, maybe needing more space since we've been home, working from home, have realized that maybe they need an extra office space or something to that extent.
An extra house. I think we could just say just an extra whole house.
An extra
live over there, and I'll live over here. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. But since obviously since COVID-19, and they basically have a unique opportunity now to sell their house for top dollar and then use the equity from that sale along with, coupled with the interest rates that are going on right now, to be able to upgrade their home and stay almost probably in. I've seen some cases where their payment is the same or sometimes even less. So you get that usually doesn't happen. That's rare that it happens, that you can sell for top dollar and take advantage of upgrading your home and pay pretty much the same.
Yeah, that is rare, honestly. Yeah. So, okay. So what is a multiple offer? You brought that up. So I want to make sure that we discuss what is a multiple offer.
Yes. So great question. A multiple offer is basically, it's when the sellers receive multiple offers on their property, multiple bids on their property from buyers. Now with that gives the opportunity for clients to, their pricing goes, basically it's almost like in a bidding environment, and pricing goes up as a result of that, because buyers, when they have set their mind on purchasing a home and they know that there's multiple offers, then now the mindset almost turns into a win, like almost an auction environment. So they want to win. So we've seen much success. That's one of the better things that's come out of COVID as a result for our sellers, our homeowners, that they have been able to take advantage of that during this time.
Okay, very good. All right. So what is like if I had a $500,000 home, what is the average time on market?
So for a $500,000 home, you're looking at anywhere between 30 to 60 days.
Okay.
But right now, the fastest selling price point is between 200 to 250,000.
Okay.
That is, we're seeing average day on market less than 30 days,
Wow.
sometimes within just a couple weeks in
Wow.
that price point. So
Wow.
now, you mentioned all, 500,000, but all, other price points just vary depending on conditions. But typically, when you have a higher price point, it usually takes a little bit longer, and vice versa. If it's a lower price point, it takes, shorter. It's not always the same. It's not, it's not, it's an average and not a rule, basically.
Right. No, and it changes, right?
Exactly.
Pre-COVID, I don't think you were turning houses quite as quickly. So I thought it was interesting. So we go into COVID and everybody kind of freezes because a lot of people are out of work. But I have to tell you, like the FBI, I mean, our agents have continued to work. We have stayed busy. We have not laid off anybody. And I know that you've stayed busy, right? So
Right.
you're continuing to work. You've got clients that are going through the process, all of that. So any of you people that are out there that you have a question for Cookie or you want something clarified, please put it in the comment section. I can see it off of either of our platforms. We'll go ahead and pull that up and get it answered for you. Her information is also scrolling across the bottom. If you would like to speak to her offline, please grab her information. You can see that. So let's just talk for a minute. So what does the sales process look like? So I decide, okay, I think I want to sell my house. What's my first step?
So first, you want to hire a professional real estate agent like myself. You want to select the right agent. It's very important. Qualifications that some of the qualifications that you're going to be looking for would be how long they've been in the business, their market knowledge, an expert negotiator, because that's just where we are now, and most importantly, their marketing plan or their listing plan of action. So that's pretty much your first step, because there's a lot of guidance that happens in that. From there, second, you're going to prepare your prepare your home for marketing. Make any improvements suggested by your agent or any other professional that has been brought in to assist there.
Okay.
And in today's market, it's really that HGTV look that sells.
I got it.
Yep. And then lastly, your home goes on the market, it gets sold, and your agent is your best guide to get you to the closing table. And what's important about that is there are many, many steps, as you alluded to earlier. There's many, many steps between contract and close that need to be attended to so you can close easily and simply.
Okay. So when I'm going through this process, what helps you to determine how much my house is worth? Like, I don't know. I mean, I know I could probably go on Zillow and see what's sold in my neighborhood, but what helps you as the professional? You're doing an evaluation of my home. What helps you to sell to figure out what price range I should be in?
Well, the market, obviously, the market ultimately determines value. My job as your agent is to show you how the market has responded to a certain price point, and then your current competition. We look at that and we discuss that together, and the best way to position your home to sell based on your competition. Okay. So we take that information, and when I suggest a price range, it's always a moment in time, because the market is fluid. So what happened last week could be different than this week or last month. So the price we suggest is what's happening today in this market.
Well, and it is an ever-changing market right now.
Correct.
I mean,
correct.
It is very fast-paced. Everything's turning. So I would highly recommend a professional, right? Know what area you're looking to go into, and then start seeing what agent and I love Cookie, but I'm just trying to tell you, see whose agent is in that area, because they're going to know that market. They're going to have sold homes in that community, and they're going to know what's best for you, the seller, and how to market your home in the right format.
Right.
So, I just wanted to make sure that, hire a professional. That's what I want you to get out of that.
Right. And that was one of the points I said, market knowledge, about when you're looking for an agent, one of the qualities that you're looking for. And that agent is going to, throughout the process, while your home is on the market, they're going to constantly keep you informed of what's happening on the market. So if you need to make price adjustments, you'll be able to do that when they, a great agent is going to do that.
Okay. Price adjustments. What are those? I'm going to throw that one at you. You brought it up.
So price adjustments, you make price improvements. And that's really just like staying on top of what's happening in the neighborhood, because like I said, the initial plan that we put in place, as the homeowner and myself, of pricing at that time, whatever happens is something, home that has been pending is now sold, that could potentially be used as a property that the appraiser will use once this property is under contract. Okay. So you're constantly looking at what's happening in the market, so that you can stay on top of pricing and remain competitive.
Okay. All right. And so during these unprecedented times that we are working with, how are you personally handling COVID protocols? Well, what does that look like? And what's changed in your business model that's really making a difference and an impact the way you do business today?
Great question, because that is a major concern for a lot of people right now. Now, with COVID-19, homes are still selling. Let me just make that clear. Homes are still selling. We just modified the process on how we do things and to keep everyone safe. So we're successfully selling homes by following CDC protocols. In addition, personally, I offer a 360 tour on the properties that I list. And it's a tour that it's almost as if you're standing in the home and you can walk through the home and see everything that's happening in the home, as well as it includes a floor plan, like the dollhouse kind of overview of the home.
Right.
And then I've also added some qualifying factors up front, just to ensure that the buyers that are coming to look at the home are qualified to purchase the home, as well as are serious about purchasing.
So let's just talk about how that's changed a little bit, because prior to that, I mean, you may have done that, but you may have thrown a house or two into a mix as a buyer's agent that you were just going to maybe to open up your client's eyes on some other possibilities. But do you think that process has become more narrow now, trying to make sure that the person's totally qualified to purchase this home, that's meeting their top 5 must-haves, like must have a large kitchen, 2-car garage, a pool in the back. So they their top 5 must-haves. So do you think that that's changed a little bit with everything that has happened?
I believe it's definitely changed a bit. I think buyers are, because of the low inventory, buyers are they're doing their research as well. So with an understanding of what they're looking for, we're usually just getting to a point where we know these are the homes that we're targeting, and then moving forward from there, because they know, as well as we know, because they can see it, that when a home gets on the market, if it's priced well, shows very well on online, it's going to go quick, especially like I said, in that definitely in that price point. Yesterday, just yesterday, a client that I was working with, home went on the market yesterday, and by the afternoon, they already had two offers on the property. So wow. It's moving very fast, and it's so important at this point to make sure that you have financing or your proof of funds already in place, so that when, from a buyer's perspective, I know we were talking about sellers, but on a buyer's perspective, that they're able to make moves as soon as they see the perfect home.
Yeah, and I think that that's important to bring up here because honestly, if you're coming in off of the buyer side, you really do need to make sure you are pre-approved. You know exactly how much you've qualified for, and that you have your top 5 things that you can't live without, like school district if you have children, you know, or you're older and I don't want to live near a school, right? So there are things that are important to you. But it is super important. And then this virtual world that we're living in, I mean, there's so much that they can do, is like you said, with the virtual tours
Right.
that allow you to view the property without ever setting foot into it.
Right.
I know that you work in the with some of the military, so a lot of times they have to buy property sight unseen, right?
Right. And we were always, I do a lot with relocation as well. So we've been used to FaceTiming or video chatting with potential buyers of a property. So that part, it really isn't new, especially for those agents that are high with relocation clients.
Right.
That part wasn't new, but we are, there's a lot of different things, like I said, with CDC protocols that we didn't have to do before. I mean, but we're getting used to that as a whole, just our day-to-day walk of going to the grocery store. And, if you're going out to a restaurant, if you're still doing that, or just going out. So those things have changed across the board.
Yeah, I would agree. So again, anybody out there that has a question for Cookie, go ahead and post it for us and we'll go ahead and get it answered for you. But Cookie, is there anything else that you would like to mention on the seller side that you think is important that we may have missed?
I think we covered everything, but I just want to make sure that, the points here is that that their home's still selling. It is a fantastic time to put your home on the market now to get what you want. If you have been considering upgrading to your home, especially now, notice that you may need an extra bedroom or you may need an extra office space. This is it's really the time to do it. And I know it's almost cliche because you always hear that, like, now is the time, now is the time. But, as I mentioned before, with the prices, being able to get top dollar for your home and take advantage of super low interest rates, it's just a win-win.
So really, you can get more space and just have an even swap as far as being able to get the same mortgage payment. So
I've
really,
been seeing that with a lot of my clients, that's definitely the case.
That's what we're talking about here. So we are definitely in a seller's market.
Yes,
all
for
agents,
sure.
all agents are looking for properties to list. So have a conversation. If you're considering it or have thought about it, want to know what your house is worth, pick up the phone, find your agent, interview, and make sure that you're making the decision that's right for you, because your agent becomes your best friend. And so we want to encourage you to make sure that you're using an agent. I love Cookie. She does a great, fantastic job. I've watched her for the last 5 years actually come along, and now she's actually doing extremely well. So I'm super proud of her. And, again, in 2010, we were in a buyer's market and we've been in a seller's market for quite a while. And right now, what we're seeing is lack of inventory. We have less than 2 months of inventory in the market right now. So if you're looking to get some information, what is it called? A comp? Is that what they call it whenever you...
comparative market analysis. There's different terms for it, but excuse me, that's the most common phrase for it. It's comparative market analysis.
So call Cookie. Get yourself a comparative market analysis of what's going on in your neighborhood. It's a complimentary service, and that's how she starts her relationship. So
absolutely,
guys, reach out. Consider selling your house, especially if now that you've been home with the family and you still love them, but you could use a little more space. Because I have to say, Michael left the house Monday. And he used to go shoot pool on Monday night. So I had the whole house to myself. It was quiet. All I could hear was the dog snoring. And I thought, oh boy, I missed this. And then when he came home, I told him, and he goes, do you want me to leave again? I'm like, no. That's not the point. It was just, you start to realize the things that you miss, right? Like
Right.
having a private, quiet house to yourself. Like that's just, I'm high energy. I love go, go, go. But when I come home, I want to decompress. So that's
Absolutely.
just, yeah. And it's hard when you've got a house full of people. So thank you, Cookie, for being my guest.
You're very welcome. I appreciate you inviting me. And this is a really great time with you.
Well, good. Thank you. And we will see you back next week. We are going to be discussing open permits.
Ooh.
And then what happens when you find an open permit. And I'll have Marie comes back with us next week. So please stay tuned and join in. See you later.
Bye, guys.